All right, I'm here with EG.Demuslim on day 2 of MLG Dallas. You lost to Inser in the open bracket, and now you're in loser bracket.
Round 7-ish.
Okay, so you got a while to wait for...
Yeah.
One of the things people don't know about, or maybe don't appreciate, is when you, depending on when you lose in the open bracket, you can end up playing your games like at midnight, and then having to come back really early the next morning.
Yeah.
Have you been caught in that before?
Yeah, I've lost very early in the winner bracket before like round 2 or something, and then gone up to like round 11 or something of the loser bracket, and I ended up playing against White Rider at like 1 AM, but yeah, I was up from like 6 AM until whenever. It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's like the most trying part of MLG, I think, is coming to one of those long runs. So your team's doing really well. A lot of your players, like 5 of them, were in the, I guess, like near the finals of their brackets. Why?
Why? Well, there was an MLG North American qualifier where quite a few of us did well. Some less expected than others, such as LZ Gamer finished top 8 or so after beating Idra. The other guys, I think they got top 5 because I think they just had high points from previous MLGs. But yeah, we're having a pretty good run so far, and people like Suppy playing against Rain right now, and I think he's got like decent chances. And Chris, like MC, got knocked down to the lower bracket by Moonglade. He's playing Moonglade now. I don't know what the score is there, but that looks reasonable too. Yeah, I think we're doing well.
Cool. How's life going? You're at the EG house?
Oh, at the EG house, it's fine. Yeah,
it's fine. There was a lot of drama about the StarCraft scene exploding, and you were in the room with Jeff and Idra and that. And what did you think about it all?
I was actually watching the show. I thought it was kind of interesting, and it's kind of like a bit of a hot topic, like whether Blizzard's doing enough.
Do you think they're doing enough?
Currently, I think they're heading in the right direction. I've always thought of Blizzard as like these old dinosaurs that are kind of like, we're relying on our name kind of thing to get everything going, and like people buying our stuff or staying with our stuff. But then you had like new kids on the block that were just like, well, it's high-tech lightsabers and shit, just making everything good. But yeah, I mean, I don't believe the recent like save hot stuff has like made anything happen. I believe Blizzard had all this planned out. It's not as if they can just schedule stuff to be done in a week.
It's like a year in advance.
Yeah, I mean, like they had all this like ready to be released. They talked about it. Just, I think people got a little too ahead of themselves, saying like the game's gonna die. Like, I can't remember playing a game where people didn't say it was gonna die. And Blizzard, they're functional enough to know like if their game, like what to implement in the game. They listen to the community pretty well, and yeah, what they're implementing, I think it is gonna be enough. Obviously, there's things that I'd still love in the game, but due to money and stuff like LAN, when you have your game like 100% pirated, like previous versions, that's a pretty hard thing to implement. But yeah, I mean, I think they're doing enough.
What do you think they need to do next? Like, what are the major topics that you'd be like, okay, do this, add this, and fix this? Okay,
chat channels with portraits and stuff. I loved being in a channel where I saw everybody in the channel with their portraits and stuff. That's just cool. StarCraft 2 for me, even in a gaming house, is a lonely place at the best of times. So for people that just sat in their room alone, I can't really imagine, So that would help. Balance-wise, just change infestors. I think that's a pretty big one. Either nerfing Fungal, nerfing Infested Terrans, or making like Infestors 3 supply or something.
You're like the 3rd person in a row that said that, because I keep asking everybody about Broodlord Infestor, and Major just said 3 supply Infestor as well. Yeah,
I mean, like, there's a lot of things you can change with the game, but that's one of the big ones that just screams out. It's like, I was in a meeting with David Kim one time, and it's like, yeah, Zergs are making like 20 Infestors, and he's like, 20? We only planned for them making like 5 or 6, and it's like, well, no, Infested Terrans are really freaking good, and Fungal too, but yeah, chat channels are a biggie. I'd also make it so you can't hotkey eggs, because I think that's like a really big deal. Every other race, they have to build new units and then rally them out, and then like click on them, select them, put them to a group or whatever. Whereas Zerg, their whole army is automatically in a group. And I think people talk about like Zerg being too easy and stuff, or it's easier to hit a higher level, and I think things like that are definitely things that help. Like, my English is really bad right now, lack of sleep, but yeah, I just think things like that would help the game a lot. The whole easy factor, like auto-splitting at the start of the game, I don't actually mind that. I think it's kind of like, it's like a monotonous task anyway. But things like that, they just make Zerg a lot easier than the other races, and I don't think that should be part of the game. I think they should all be pretty equally easy or pretty equally hard, depending on how you look at it.
Have you played Heart of the Swarm?
Yep.
What do you think?
I like it. There's a few things that I don't particularly like, but it's probably because I'm not used to it.
Like what?
The numbers on buildings, like command centers.
You don't like that? The supply?
No.
Why?
One of the things that I personally pride myself on is how I split workers amongst bases for like saturation and stuff. And now that's a task that isn't really that hard to do. It's like, okay, I'm gonna look at my bases. I'm like, you can just like scroll around and be like, everything's fine. Oh, I'll add a few more of here. It's not what I like. I like selecting, making sure it's fine, selecting, making sure it's fine. Because I think there's some skill in just like looking at the rows of units that you have or workers and just doing all that. I think it takes speed, patience and stuff, and that's probably one of the only things I'd change. Besides that, I'd give Terran another new unit. I don't like the Widow Mine, how it runs right now. I don't like burrowed units in general. Like Lurkers, they were a brand of their own, you know, it like did stuff underground, whereas now they're trying to add in like too much stuff, swarm hosts, widow mines. Yeah.
When we first started playing like the alpha builds of StarCraft 2 in like 2008 or whatever, like the number one thing everyone complained about that was playing it was that they were just noobifying things, and it wasn't that they were just making it easier for you to accomplish, but making it easier for lower level players to accomplish. Do you think that that kind of ideology of making things easier, like the numbers on the units or on the buildings, or like multiple building selection and being able to select your whole army, do you think that like lowers the skill ceiling and makes it too easy for players to compete?
It's still going to be a very hard game. Like the skill ceiling's still going to be pretty much where it is now. You know, it's still going to be an extremely hard game. But StarCraft 2's, and like I'll even talk about Brood War. Like Brood War was a game that people loved because of how hard it was. People knew that if this guy was good at this game, this guy was good at this freaking game. You know, like and I feel that Blizzard have kind of like looked at everything that's going on around them, like these MOBA titles such as LoL. Like why are these games appealing? And I think they've looked at the wrong thing. I don't know if they've looked at it and said like this game's very easy, so lots of people play it and they have fun at being good at the game, which that's true. Like StarCraft 2's got a steep learning curve. You can play like 10 games in a row, like your first games, and lose every one, and then eventually win or whatever. But I think they're looking at the wrong stuff. Like one of the reasons that LoL's so popular is like it's free, and it's a fun game. Like you can't just look at the easy factor or whatever. So noobifying it, I still think it's going to be a really good game. But yeah, I wish they'd keep that kind of idea that StarCraft 2 is like the premier esport. It's like the elite game, you know. It's the game that you play that's the hardest. I mean, you had FPS titles like Quake, or even before that Painkiller, that were like really freaking hard to play, but they were so hard that you had like a minimal pool of players. I think StarCraft 2 has taken the good points from Brood War and like kind of eliminated lots of the bad things, or when I say bad things, lots of the super hard things. And I think it's at a pretty damn good balance right now. I don't think Blizzard need to look at other titles and say we need to trim things down in terms of like difficulty.
Have you played Dota?
Yeah, I played Dota.
What, Dota 2? What do you think of it compared to LoL?
I played LoL a little bit. LoL seems very spammy. There's not really, you don't really have to think about mana usage or energy usage. It's just very easy. What were you about to say?
I was going to say it reminds me a lot about the dynamic between Brood War and StarCraft 2. If you play MOBA games, the idea of being able to last hit and deny is, adds a whole new gradient of skill compared to just being able to last hit enemy creeps.
In Dota 2, there's a lot more like, okay, if I make this decision, I make this decision. It's like you have to deal with the consequences. If you die, you lose gold. If you spend this spell, you like just used half your mana pool and you won't get that back for like another minute or something. LoL, there's none of that. It's like you die. You keep all your money, you buy items, whatever. So like, yeah, the difficulty is certainly less, but I mean, I enjoyed both games. I thought they were both decent for what they were. They're a little too simplistic for me. Like even though you have like lots of heroes and new hero releases like every other week or whatever, I still found the game very like you do the same or and you can say the same with any game. It's just StarCraft 2 kept me for much longer, you know. But I found other MOBA titles more endearing. I liked Hon better than both of them, to be honest. Dota feels slow, LoL feels easy. Hon felt pretty fast, and Just I like the ranking system, and it was prettier on the ice.
Jeff's getting married soon. What do you think?
I'm happy for him.
Are you going to go to the wedding?
Yes.
What's your dream girl?
Dream girl?
Yeah. Like
features?
yeah, like top 3 traits.
Busty. It's a pretty big one. Flamboyant. I like a girl that's pretty out there. And considerate.
So are Anna and Jeff going to move out the house then? Or does she still live there now?
Yeah, they both still live there, and I have no idea what the plans are. Maybe they might like some alone time, or they might take an extended honeymoon. I honestly don't know. I don't know that much. I don't talk to them and be like, oh, what are you going to do? Like, just they're getting married.
Have you given Jeff any advice? I mean, you haven't been married, obviously, but have you had like any deep conversations where you're like, man, you're getting married soon, the rest of your life?
I haven't had that talk, but like when you say advice, like,
well, have you had any deep conversations about the next phase of his life?
No.
Okay, so you guys just talk about StarCraft?
Well, we talk about life and stuff, but it's not like.
Do you don't sit down
do you know what you're getting yourself into?
You don't like sit with a glass of scotch?
None of that talk, or like, Jeff, this is how you do stuff. Like,
okay.
None of that talk.
Does he give you any advice?
You know, I've asked him for advice and stuff before, like about like relationships. How do I deal with this? But yeah, I think that's normal.
Is he good at it? Does he give good advice?
Him and Anna are like older, so I can ask both. I'm a young rockin' 22-year-old, but like both of those 27, they've been through stuff before, and I'm new to America in general, so I can be like, hey, like my family like are off in England doing their own thing, so I look to Jeff and Anna as kind of like father, mother figures in the house kind of thing. So yeah, advice, it's okay.
What do you have coming up next, tournament-wise?
I'm going to see how I do in NESL. It's going pretty well so far, but I'd like to qualify to the offline. I think that would be the next thing.
And you won't go to IPL if you're going to wedding, right?
Right.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Do you want to go back inside?
I'm ready to go back inside, but
okay.
I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors. Raycall, our title sponsor. Intel, Monster, SteelSeries, Kingston, Beyond Gaming, Sapphire, and Inwin. You're all great. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for sending me here. And also, thank you to the fans and viewers.
Twitter?
My Twitter is @Demuslim.
Just Demuslim?
Oh. Nobody takes that name. It's really good.
Yeah, it's good. You know, Major doesn't have a Twitter, doesn't have Twitch, doesn't use Reddit.
He had them,
but he got rid of them. We need to talk to Cats about social media.
Major's like really good at StarCraft, but really bad at every other aspect of life. Like, that's just him.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks for the interview, and good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.